Good morning, beautiful people. Thursday, May 7th. Beautiful outside. Get your cup of coffee. Go sit out on your front porch. Go sit out on your back deck. It's beautiful. Hey, friends. Last night we had our last confirmation meeting. Our last confirmation class. We did that over Zoom. We've been meeting over Zoom for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think, something like that. It's been good. I have really enjoyed meeting with the confirmation kids over Zoom. Just to see their faces has filled me with joy. But the thing we talked about last night, and thing I wanted to try to give them as we're not meeting now for over the summer, like we do every year. I wanted to teach them some spiritual practices. Spiritual practices for confirmation students. I know that's weird. Why would anybody want to learn spiritual practices? What is that? So we talked about the need to practice, and I had everybody think of something that they had to practice in their life. Some people said, "Hey, I needed to practice." One kid said, "I needed to practice picking up after myself in the kitchen." Yeah, right. I mean, you don't just automatically do that. You need to kind of learn how to do things. And so, a lot of the kids, they talked about soccer, playing goalie, basketball, hockey. One kid said, he practices his puck handling, right? All those things that we practice, and we practice that to get better. No, we don't do spiritual practices to get better, right? That's not the point. But we engage in spiritual practices in order to strengthen our faith, and in order to become more aware of God with us and in our lives. And so we named 5 spiritual practices. And so when I said, "Hey guys, what do you think you would do, or what are some things that you could do to grow your faith?" And they thought for a second. I'm going to let you think for a second. What do you think would be things that you could do to grow your faith? Can you think of anything? So they said the first one, every class. So we met with 6th graders, 7th graders, and then 8th graders. And every class said prayer first. Loved it. It was great. Prayer is one of the ways that we can grow in our faith. And then actually they got the first 2 in the same order, each of the classes. They said prayer is a way we could grow our faith. And then they said reading the Bible. Yeah, absolutely. Those are ways that we could grow in our faith, ways where we could grow closer to the awareness of God. So prayer. Reading, and then they kind of struggled, and they said, what else are things that we can do? And I said, all right, what are things that we're not doing right now that where you feel kind of a void, where you feel like there's kind of a little empty spot? And they said, we're not worshiping in the building together. We're worshiping digitally, and I know it's different, right? And I talked with another friend last night, and they said, I really miss getting together for worship. I agree. Worship. So prayer, reading, worship. And then we talked about a couple other things. We talked about fellowship. So fellowship is a really important thing. And then lastly, we talked about, hey, there's some runners running past me. Randall's, he's pacing them. We talked about prayer, reading, worship, and then we talked about service, and we talked about fellowship. Those are 5 ways that we can grow in our faith: prayer, reading scripture, service, worship, and fellowship. Some of those things we can't do right now really well, but boy, is it important for us to continue spiritual practice, as I hope and pray that you might. And that's one of the reasons why we're asking you every day at 3:53 in the afternoon, we're asking you to stop for a minute stop for 30 quick seconds and be in prayer as a community. So we're experiencing a little bit of fellowship that way by doing it together, but we're also growing in our faith. Friends, engage in some of those spiritual practices. I know that there's a little bit of a void, but I'd love for you to think about your spiritual life. Brandon wants to think about his spiritual life. Ways in which you could grow in your faith. Friends, have a great, beautiful, God-blessed Thursday, May 7th. Be very well to yourself. Be well to your friends, to your neighbors. I gotta go see what Randall's warning me about over there. Have a great day. Be well. Take care. Good morning, friends. It's Thursday. What is it? Thursday the 7th? Hold on a second. Yeah, Thursday, May 7th. Good morning, beautiful people. Thursday, May 7th.